Daddy cool. There's a peculiar kind of intonation amongst a certain class in this country that just gets my goat, and it doesn't matter what they're saying. It's this sort of authoritarian reasonableness, disengaged authoritarian reasonableness, imperturbable. So I was looking at one of those boats. There was I don't know what it is when you put two people in. It's not a skull anymore, is it? Is it a skull? A double. They've each got one oar. And I was thinking about the fact that I asked my daughter whether she knows what a triangle is. But she didn't mention it, didn't answer. And the answer is, well, what I've been trying to teach her is that a triangle is a rectilinear figure in which the interior angles sum to two right angles. And that means any rectilinear figure you can draw. Rectilinear means it has edges which are straight lines. So you can trace around a closed curve around some edges of a cube and say to yourself, is this a triangle? And if it has the interior angles summing to two right angles, then it is a triangle. And that's called the definition by proof. And it's a sort of fundamental theorem in Euclidean geometry. And Aristotle wrote a lot about that theorem, and he used it in examples in various places. And it's an important theorem because it also defines a circle. One way of drawing a circle is with a compass, where you put the point in at the center and you hold the distance the same and turn it round. But you've got to be very careful not to let your... Hi there, how are you doing? Okay, thanks. You've got to be very careful not to let your calipers, your compass close as it's going round, because it won't join right. But if instead you take two pegs and you stick them in the ground, like I showed some girls in San Jose de Uchupiamonas, way out in the Bolivian jungle, in the rainforest. I showed them how to do ellipses with a piece of string and two pegs in the yard outside the house. But if you take a right angle, provided you can find a good one, and take those two same pegs and you slide, the right angle's got to be big enough that it doesn't slide between the two pegs, so it's always got to be touching both of the pegs, and the right angle kind of protrudes out between them as far as it can go. And if you slide that right angle figure around, then the point will trace out a circle. And then you get other theorems in Euclid to do with the ratio of squares that come from that. And there's a way of finding the geometric mean. I think it's a geometric mean. Can't quite remember. It's getting a bit stratospheric for me. But if you draw a figure in a semicircle and you divide the radius part, the flat part of the semicircle, in a certain ratio, then the height of the perpendicular from that point of division to the point where it meets the circle bears a certain geometric relationship with the ratio in which you divided the base. Now, it's a kind of calculator. So I'm not saying that I was sitting in Bolivia trying to teach Bolivian people stuff about phase spaces and projection and things like that, although there are plenty of them that could understand that. I wouldn't use that kind of language. My Spanish is easily up to having a discussion about geometry, or had a good talk with some young guys in Cali in Colombia about Terence McKenna and philosophy and hallucinogenics. I can hold my own in Spanish. Maybe I couldn't when I first got to Bolivia. It was very difficult. I used to take a dictionary to the shop. But after I lived for a while and stopped going to the Blue Note and talking to English speaking people, I learned pretty quickly. But if you take mathematics and you divide it up into specialisms and then stack them all together and plonk category theory on the top, and then say, oh, now we've got categorical logic, and we put that on top of category theory, and then you get people like me saying, oh, I wouldn't mind doing a PhD. And I said, there's this course here, they're doing something interesting. And Joe Hurd says to me, categorical logic, hard stuff. Joe Hurd had a PhD when he told me that. PhD in weird arithmetic with elliptic curve, cryptography and whole. I saw Marcus Kuhn wrote something about elliptic curve cryptography, and I swear the first time I looked at it, I thought that's a joke. I don't know why, I didn't really understand it, but I just thought, that is cryptography? Are you kidding me? It looked ridiculously easy to unzip. At that point I'd stopped caring. I can't understand that an entire university of people, one of the best in the world, is reduced to pretending to be a bunch of fucking idiots. it just goes on and on and on. I can't believe that you really are. But then you're not giving me any reason to not believe it. So it's just, we're getting nowhere.